Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak to small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have him back because it's been a while, but we got a lot of great news to talk about. Is Harry Barr. He's a chairman and CEO at New Age Metals, trades in Canada under NAM, and for friends in the US under NMTLF. For those new to the story, and you might have seen a great headline they put out about a major partner that were in the lithium production space that we're going to talk about. New Age Metals, look, the tagline is like a lot of taglines. A junior metal exploration and development company focused on the discovery, exploration, development of green metal projects in North America. But they're doing that through two divisions. This is where they separate themselves from everybody else. A platinum group metals division and a lithium rare element division. So shareholders have tremendous exposure to two parts of the battery metal space. Now, more than just lip service, because a lot of companies talk about battery metals and they're there. Here's what you need to know. Three things. One, Eric Sprott. He's a strategic shareholder with 24.5% ownership. Right away, there's some validation right there because Eric Sprott is the preeminent resource investor, maybe in the history of Canada. The PGM side is anchored by the company's flagship project, the River Valley project in Sudbury. It's a multi-million ounce district scale palladium asset. Right now, it's got 2.9 million ounces of palladium equivalent measured and indicated, another 1.1 inferred, and they've got a positive PEA, which is a preliminary economic assessment that basically says 14 years mine of life, annual production, 120,000 ounces of palladium, and do the math. Palladium right now trading above $2,200. There's a pre-feasibility study coming at the end of September, so that's going to give us even more light. But if that was all we talked about, there's the company, and most small cap companies would be envious of that. But on top of that, they've got the lithium division in Manitoba, which is comprised of 7 projects. And here's the big thing you need to know we're going to talk about. They signed a binding term sheet with the world's 4th largest lithium producer. That's a non-dilutive $4 million agreement. It's major mineral resources out of Australia. And that's what we're going to talk about. Harry, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having us, George. Good overview. I don't have to say anything.
Well, look, I knew it took a little longer than normal, but the fact of the matter is you guys have such great things going because there's so many Me Too companies out there. George's Lithium, George's Battery Company, and they really don't have anything. Let's talk about this Australian. How big is MRL, first of all, before we get into the details? And how is this validation for what you guys are doing in Manitoba with your lithium?
Well, the last I looked, they were about a $10 billion market cap, George. Just been great people to work with. We put together a group of properties. If you have 7, you're going to see more coming up here in the next week or two. We've been actually, with their help, putting together quite another large landmass that we're going to announce. And we put the projects together. We went out to the world to see who would partner with us. In February of 2021, we got an email back from them, and knew of them, but didn't know much about them, and started negotiating. And then in the fall of 2021, we signed the agreement. And it's an agreement that would take us a long way. It's the first $4.4 million, 4.1 goes into the property, and we get $400,000 for payments. But each increment, as they earn their way towards 65 and 75%, they have to spend a lot of money to do a lot of things to get the project to eventually production ready. And then we even have in our agreement, they will help us should we choose to take the money from them at the rate that they get the money for to finance the project. So it's a lot more than what it seems in the press release that we put out. And to get there, they would have to spend many millions of dollars. I don't know how much it would take to develop a new lithium mine in Manitoba, but it would be many millions of dollars.
And look, this is, like I said earlier, this is the world's 4th largest lithium producer, and they're coming way across the pond from Australia. So how much validation, how happy should shareholders be, Harry? Because you and I both know there's a lot of XYZ Lithium, ABC Lithium, George Lithium, and all of them are saying we're going to be the battery metal supplier. So it's hard for investors to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, because what do we really know at the end of the day about all these deposits from these different companies? Is this the validation you're looking for? And is this the validation shareholders should be really happy about because somebody else is saying your baby is one of the most beautiful babies in the world?
Well, this is certainly our partner. Could it be another junior company that is able to raise, a few $1,000,000 to finance this? But what separates this from that type of company is they are a producer. They're here in Canada to find another mine. They want to build lithium mines. That's what they do, and we're really pleased to have a partner like they are.
Hey, I may be putting the cart before the horse, so I'm not trying to pin you down or give or ask for a prediction or projection, but they're in the game now. They're going to start doing their work. You got a $1.8 million budget, I think, just for this year.
That's correct.
How long, ballpark, will it take MRL, 2, 3 years to really get a handle of what you've got there, or what should shareholders expect timeline wise, if
No,
any?
I think you nailed it. 2 to 3 years, like we did drill late last fall on the Lithium 2 project. We will drill a second round there. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 rounds there to actually start putting together a resource. Our first maiden drill program will be on Lithium 1. It'll start the end of this month, early September. And we've got a third project we're trying to bring to the drill stage and trying to get it through and get us a permit. We did a lot of geophysics last year, over $300,000. So there's a lot of boots in the ground on the other projects this year to try and bring them to the drill stage. And as I say, we've been acquiring ground all last winter, last fall, and now, and those should be announcement out next week about how much more ground we have and what potential we think it has. But there are some a little bit more advanced stage, but it is a lot of grassroots exploration that we're doing. It's an area, George, that should have been explored many, many years ago for lithium. In fact, a lot of the information we have is from the late 40s, early 50s, when there was a bit of a lithium boom. And we're following up on a bunch of those projects. We're also, what a lot of people don't know is there's a mine called Tanco, and Tanco it's one of the largest pegmatites of its kind in North America. And it's been in production since '69. And it's actually the first new producer again of lithium. They turned on their lithium circuit probably 6 or 8 months ago now. It was a Chinese company that came in called Sinomine and bought an American company out. And so they have the lithium circuit going. They have cesium there and have tantalum. And we've been talking to them. They seem like a great outfit. We're going to visit their property and everything here with the Australians coming up sometime in September. And they're talking about getting that mine ramped up to the point where they would do 10 times the volume they're doing now in the next couple of years and getting the permits, and the possibility of having extra capacity to take lithium from other nearby sources. And of course, many of our properties are adjacent to there. So, that's all good news too in Manitoba.
Let's hop over to the PGM side. But as I hop over to the PGM side, I want to transition slightly and say this is a huge benefit also, not just financially, switching over to the PGM. You can focus a lot more on the PGM side because you have a real partner on the lithium side, right? I would have to imagine up until MRL came along, you had to really split your brain power, the company's resources, time, energy between both. Really, so how big of a help is even the MRL deal going to be to the PGM side, River Valley? Because now you can focus a lot more on that.
Yeah, and that was our main focus, George, River Valley, and with the MRL coming along to help us finance things, it really has helped a lot. And now the projects are moving ahead with bigger budgets every year. Our budgets were a couple $100,000 a year since we started in 2016, so we weren't really getting a lot done on the lithium side. But main focus, as you say, a multi-million ounce deposit, one of the only one of its kind in North America. Probably the second most advanced project of its kind in Canada. As you said, we did a PEA in 2019. We are almost through a pre-feasibility study. It's a $4 million study that started in April of 2021. 5 different companies helping us do it. And we're now meeting every 2 weeks to, just get the last bit of work done. And fortunately, I use a terrible expression that, doing a pre-feasibility or a feasibility study for shareholders is kind of like watching paint dry. There's not a lot of exciting things. We'll have an announcement tomorrow, an update on the metallurgy, but a $4 million study, if you were drilling, you'd probably get 15 or 20 announcements out, that kind of money. But we're going to probably get 6 out in the year and a half it's taken to do the study. But we think it's going to be positive. It's right outside of Sudbury, 100 kilometers. You've been to the site. It's just an unbelievable location.
Drive right on there from the 400. It's amazing.
Yeah, and Sudbury can take, and process our metals 100 kilometers away. We have 2 deals with our local native groups, and actually they're going to come to the site on I think it's the 19th of September this year. And we have good relationships with them. And so we're trying to work both environmentally and with our local partners and develop this thing and get it to the point where it's going to be production ready, hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, now you've already got a PEA in place. I kind of said that in the intro. That ballpark is 14 years mine of life at 120,000 ounces of palladium equivalent.
Yeah.
And do you think the market is missing something though? Because just that alone seems to be a company maker. And I know we're going to know a lot more with the pre-feasibility study at the end of September. But what do you think the market's missing right now? Because to the layman,
it's
when I see those kind of
unbelievable.
numbers, say those are great numbers.
I mean, you probably have as many as I do, but I'm personally invested in about 50 different stocks and juniors, and I don't think 4 of them are in the money. Since a year ago, June, we've been in a decline. And then, of course, when the big markets all got hit hard here in the last couple of months, we got hit again. But this time around, George, we've never, all these downturns I've been through, it took 3 or 4 or 5 years for the metal prices to come back. And then when they came back and investors saw that, they start putting money in again. The metal prices are good this time. And so I think that we're going to come out of this funk that we're in, the juniors, quicker. There was a little sign of life a week ago. Everybody kind of ticked up a penny or two, including us. And again, me looking across the 50, probably 20 or 30 of those companies did. So I just think that palladium is also a metal that most people don't understand. It's 85% of it is in the tailpipe of your car, and the auto catalyst is an anti-pollution device. And I think people just don't really understand that. But it is a very green metal and needs to be around for hydrogen and many other things in the future. So I think people are going to get it. Most likely we will someday very soon find a partner. We're not looking yet. We're going to use this study to look for a bigger partner on this next go around. And we have a choice. We might do the feasibility study ourselves, or we might bring a partner in to help us take this thing all the way once we get the pre-feasibility study done.
Harry, if all goes well at the pre-feasibility study, I want to talk about perfection because you're not going to get every single thing you need, but we probably can assume it's going to be a good news, a good report. What's next steps at that point? What's your plans for River Valley?
Well, we're going to keep pushing it forward. And the next step after a pre-feasibility is a feasibility study. And we're either going to finance that ourselves and move forward and do it, George, or it is a time where we can take this new document and go out to the powers to be in the platinum group metal industry and say, look, we've got this project. You guys want to come in? We own 100% of it. You want to earn into this project? Help us complete the feasibility study, the permitting, and get this thing into production. So we're going to be working at both those angles, and one of them will move us ahead to the feasibility study.
Are there big partners out there that have been potentially sniffing around? I mean, I'm assuming the entire palladium PGM world knows about River Valley. What do you gauge the level of interest out there to be right now?
Well, we had, and unfortunately, I didn't even get to see it at the PDAC this year. And one of the reasons is we were booked solid. There was quite a lot of interest, and I have a veteran PhD expert, Dr. Bill Stone, and we both talked after the 3 days of meetings. We said, these are some of the best meetings we maybe ever had together. We worked together 12 to 15 years now, Bill Stone and I, in terms of interest. So yeah, there are companies out there interested, and we haven't really tried to bring them in. We just tried to keep them up to date, and we're hoping this study is the ticket to be able to show them exactly where we are and would entice them to go further in terms of negotiating with us.
Well, if the announcement with Major Mineral Resources on the lithium side out of Australia is any indication, clearly you guys know how to get it done and move these things to the next level. So I've got a lot of confidence that you're going to be able to do the same thing with River Valley, and can't wait to have you back on. But in the meantime, my friend, look, congratulations on signing the binding term sheet. and moving ahead with the budget in Manitoba and the lithium side. And I'm sure it's not going to be long till we have you back on again. I mean, we're in vacation mode here in August, but with the pre-feasibility study coming out, you're anticipating end of September, right?
Yeah, so maybe
We're
we
gonna
can
be back
talk
on
in
together.
early October, yeah, and go through that. But yeah, I'm excited about it. We've been at it a long time now, and it's almost done. And it's a company that I think if you're a speculative kind of investor, which a lot of people are in our industry, you've got two kicks at the can with two green metals and news coming from both fronts. So,
And we didn't even really talk about the fact that additional validation, I think everyone has to make up their own mind about it, but in my opinion, and it's not financial advice, but Eric Sprott being such a strategic shareholder is also another validation point, right? That
well, I would think so.
he
Like
can
you
do a lot
say,
better due diligence than we can at home.
well, and I think he's definitely the best investor in our space. So we're definitely happy to have Eric on board, and certainly a pleasure to work with him and his team.
Well, hopefully at the end of September, when the pre-feasibility study comes back, maybe we can have him on with you and have a triple box kind of interview and get his thoughts. I'm sure everyone would love to hear from him.
That would be great.
Thanks for joining us, Harry. Have a great rest of the summer. Rest up a little bit because it sounds like between the lithium side and the PGM side, you're going to be really busy going into
We're going to
December.
have a busy September for sure.
All
All
right.
the best, George. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, anytime, Harry. Thanks for joining us. To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform. To Harry Barr, he's chairman, CEO of New Age Metals, trades under NAM in Canada, NMTLF in the US. Two ways to do your due diligence. One, get the company's profile page on Agoracom because there's a lot going on here. We had it nicely laid out for you. And then for those of you who are really rock hounds and know your stuff, link from there over to the New Age Metals website. Do your deep dive due diligence. Guys, if you believe in the future of battery metals companies, hopefully today you discovered your next great small cap company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.